And I used to play football since I was a boy of 7, and I kept on playing football in my school with the Jesuits, and later on. I played football many years, so I fell in love with the sport. In the United States, they use the expression soccer.
Yeah.
And I started playing, and I decided also to write about football, because I had, when I was ambassador in Kuala Lumpur, we had a trade promotion section there, and in the computer we have a site called Bye Bye Brazil, Buy from Brazil, and I inserted in that site, I inserted what I call soccer stories. So each month I used to renew the site, writing a new story about soccer. I began writing about Romário, about Garrincha, about the Brazilian football in general, Pelé, and I had the idea of writing, each month writing about one World Cup since 1930 in Uruguay.
The first one, right?
The first one, and I was changing. Each month I used to write one more, and when I discovered I had written already the story of 17 World Cups. And for a lucky coincidence, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs decided to publish a book about the World Cup of 2002 to be played in Japan and Korea. And they knew I had the site. And in a question of 30 days, I managed to have it translated from English into Japanese and Korean languages, and we made a 3-language book called Brazil in All 17 World Cups, which was produced in April and May. And when the Cup started in Korea and Japan, we had already sent 2,000 copies to Seoul in Korea, 2,000 copies of this book also to Tokyo, Japan. So it was distributed all over these two countries.
Dignitaries and...
Yeah, king, prime minister. This became very popular. It was produced by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at the time.
Very interesting. And from there it has evolved into a...
That was the first book. It was a relatively small book with 48 pages, but many photos. And in 2006, I had the idea of producing a new one, Brazil in all the 18 World Cups. We had the interesting World Cup in Germany, as you remember. I produced that only in English that time. It had 84 pages, so almost doubled as regards the first one. And now 4 years are passed, and I decided to produce Brazil in all 19, Montevideo in 1930 to South Africa in 2010. And this time, for the first time, this is a bilingual book. It's also in Portuguese.
Portuguese and
English.
Oh, very
so
good.
the people in Brazil can finally read the book, which has now 178 pages. So we started modestly with 48 pages. Now we have 178 in 2 languages. And the book is being sold in many bookstores in Brazil, especially in São Paulo, Rio, in Campinas, in Belo Horizonte. And as far as I know, for what I have heard, the reaction has been very positive. The press has been very friendly, very responsive.
Okay.
And this book is selling abroad in enormous quantities. We sold 1,800 copies in Japan. We sold 700 copies in Germany, 250 in England. A special edition is being prepared in the Mandarin language.